I love you, Father, and I love your Son. Welcome to lesson 298. So I'm laughing because the ego thought system does not love. It does not love. I know this for sure because I often dive head first in an erratic, spur of the moment decision into the ego thought system. Just like that, I can just be absorbed by insanity. And in that moment, I do not love. I do not love my Father, and I certainly do not love his Son. So I'm trying to approach this lesson with, I'm not even sure with what, humility or with honesty, that I know the opposite of this lesson very, very well. But I also know, I'm smart enough to know that it is a decision that I have to constantly make. Am I creating heaven or hell for myself? Now, if I can get into the right mind, the holy mind, then my gratitude permits my love to be accepted without fear. And thus am I restored to my reality at last. All that intruded on my holy sight, forgiveness takes away. And I draw near the end of senseless journeys, mad careers, and artificial values. I accept instead what God establishes as mine, sure that in that alone I will be saved, sure that I go through fear to meet my love. So if I can move through fear, if I can not get absorbed and sucked into the ego thought system, if I can keep on my path, I do meet my love. I do meet my Father. Father, I come to you today because I would not follow any way but yours. That this is what we're shooting for, but I do know that occasionally I try out the other team. Father, I come to you today because I would not follow any way but yours. You are beside me. Certain is your way, and I am grateful for your holy gifts of certain sanctuary and escape from everything that would obscure my love for God, my Father, and his Holy Son. So when you are in the ego thought system, you are blind to love. Your sight is obscure. What is it being blinded by? Hatred, judgment, fear, rage, fury, jealousy, insecurity, depression, stress, egoic goals, dreams, illusions, mad careers, artificial values, senseless journeys. Your sight will be blinded and you won't see your Father, and you certainly will not see his Holy Son. You won't see his Holy Son outside of you or within you when you are blinded by all of this. So if you can accept and be grateful for the holy gifts of certain sanctuary, then certain is your way. Certain is your way to your Father. Anyways, it's quite the lesson. I know it's a choice all the time what we want to side with. I know it's a struggle for a lot of people because we're in deep in the dream. We really are. And a lot of these things still seem like the right choice for you, even though they take you away from love. You might feel justified in judging someone. You might feel very entitled to your resentment. But the truth of the matter is it takes you away from love, and it takes you away from all the good things that are willed to you. So anyways, I'm going to hand this over to Jesus, 298. I love you, Father, and I love your Son. For lesson 298, Tina Jesus said, your petty judgments are creating pain in your life. Pain is when you step away from love. Pain is when you criticize and condemn and judge another. Pain is a result of your petty judgments. So the remedy for this pain is to forgive, to forget, to appreciate, and to love all as children of God. That is loving yourself and others. Are you creating heaven or hell? You're on a path. Which one are you on, heaven or hell? If you'd like to be on a path for heaven, ask yourself, what can I think? What can I do? What can I be to focus what I want into creation, into manifestation? If you want to manifest love and you want to manifest heaven, then choose the road to heaven by practicing loving kindness, forgiving all that you see with your earthly eyes. Choose the road to heaven by loving and appreciating and focusing on what you want to manifest. Focus your mind and choose the road to heaven by loving yourself, loving others, and bringing peace and joy wherever you go. So I feel like personally, I do bring peace and joy 99% of the time. Maybe 99.9% of the time. But then there's that one little piece that can come out of nowhere without any warning. It seems like it's just that potential for me to not bring peace and love. And that 1%, you're like, oh, it's just 1%. Yeah, but you can pack a lot of fury into 1%. So it's like, how do we clean that up? Well, you forgive yourself, first of all, for having a lapse in judgment. You try not to put that petty judgment upon yourself. And then you have to kind of think, well, what happened when I had the lapse? Well, there must have been a petty judgment towards another person or towards something. That trigger, you judged it as annoying. You judged it as wrong. You judged it as something that you wanted to hatefully destroy in your righteousness. And then you forgive yourself and you forget it. And you appreciate even the fact that it happened so that you can be aware of yourself more often. And then you start to love yourself like a child of God, and you love everyone as a child of God. And then pretty soon you're seeing every single person as children of God. All of them, all of them, all of them. Then you're on the road to heaven as you forgive everything you see and you love and appreciate, and you focus your mind on what you want to manifest. What would you like to have in your life? What would you like to experience? How can you focus your mind? What can you think and do and be to help that manifestation come into creation? Love yourself, love others, be joyful, be light, and just know everything's all right. Even if you entertain the ego thought system, even if you get sucked in for a little minute, it's just part of the practice of forgiveness. And don't forget to forgive yourself. A lot of times we're just way too hard on ourselves, and you just have to forgive it and forget it. pathwaysoflight.org. Welcome to the reading, A Course in Miracles Workbook Lesson 298, Insights. I love you, Father, and I love your Son. In the popular television series Survivor, each episode involves some challenge in which the participants must overcome their fears to gain a reward. They are willing to go through their fears because of the value they place on the reward. In some cases, more value is given to the fear, And so they are not willing to walk through it to get to the reward. This is a game of challenging illusions which seem fearful to gain a reward that is but another illusion which seems to have greater value. In this lesson, we are told that we can be sure that we can go through fear to meet our love. In this case, we walk through the illusion of fear to gain a reward that is real and eternal. We have help in going through the fear in the form of the Holy Spirit in our minds. And because the reward is actually the reality of what we already are, its achievement is inevitable, guaranteed by God. There is no greater reward than the eternal, infinite love of God. The means to reach it is in our minds. We need only bring all our thoughts to the Holy Spirit for His clarification and cleansing. He will bring them to the light of love. Fear will disappear, for we will recognize only love is real. Today, I would practice once again bringing all my thoughts to the Holy Spirit to receive His interpretation. I would decide nothing on my own, for on my own I do not know what anything means. I would let Him guide my thoughts, my words, and my actions so that I may be His messenger in this world and teach only love. My job now is to accept only what God establishes as mine. My job now is to let go of senseless journeys, mad careers, and artificial values. My job now is to create. My job now is to recognize that I am not a separate individual with a separate mind. In truth, I am joined with my brother in the one mind of God, and differences hold no place in God's mind. Loving my Father is accepting my Father as He truly is without trying to change Him. Loving my brother means seeing past the images of separation to the extension of love my brother truly is. My purpose now is to welcome the complete thought reversal that the Holy Spirit brings to my mistaken mind. The Holy Spirit shows me that the images of separation I see through the body's eyes could never be true, and that love, which is the only truth, could never change. It is only when I try to change God's reality that I experience fear. Separation is a fearful thought indeed. With the help of the Holy Spirit, I walk through the fear to see that the false images of separation seen through the body's eyes have been nothing all along. They were only false ideas that could never be real. Once these images are seen for the nothingness they are, fear falls away. Today I practice recognizing the eternal truth in the title of this lesson. I love you, Father, and I love your Son. pathwaysoflight.org. So I think the best part of the Pathways of Light that I appreciated was there is no greater reward than the eternal, infinite love of God, okay? That means we reach it in our minds, and we need only bring all our thoughts to the Holy Spirit for His clarification and cleansing. So that's all thoughts. That's everything. I think that's what I'm working on too, more and more, not feeling ridiculous to bring thoughts to this Holy Spirit. I mean, I catch myself having a really bad thought and being like, okay, Holy Spirit, have fun with that one. And then I also see sometimes when I am taking things back, like I could hand it over to the Holy Spirit, but I keep on taking it back. I keep on wanting to hold on to it and regurgitate it and ruminate and recycle it. And, you know, I'm the one who's not handing it over for correction. So I got to watch that. But having all our thoughts get run through the Holy Spirit's thought system before we claim it as truth for us or believe it to be real, when in fact it could be an illusion that needs correction. Most likely an illusion. They're all illusions. And that's why it used the Survivor TV show as a good example. Like, they're asked to go through these things that are essentially working through their fears for a reward. So the fear is an illusion, but so is the reward. The money is an illusion, even though it's considered a more valuable illusion, a reward. So the only real, true reward is the infinite, eternal love of God. I think I could still hear somebody funny saying, "I'd still take $1 million before that." Like, thanks God, but I'll take the money. All right, whatever you want to do. It's your choice which road you're on. So I love you, Father, and I love your Son. If you can truly connect with the mind of God and remember that you are a part of that, you will love your Father because you are a part of that Father mind of God. And if you can truly love your Father, that which you are a part of, you will truly love his Son, because everyone is a part of that one mind of God, your Father. My gratitude permits my love to be accepted without fear, and thus I am restored to my reality at last. So I get in a state of appreciation, of gratitude, of love. Fear disappears, and I am restored to my reality at last. My reality is that I am love. Anything that intruded on my holy sight, forgiveness takes away. Forgiveness is looking past the illusions or seeing illusions for what they are and letting them go for real. So we are drawing near the end of senseless journeys and artificial values and mad careers, accepting what God establishes as ours. Sure that in that alone I will be saved. Sure that I go through fear to meet my love. So you keep on going through your fears and working with the Holy Spirit to correct your illusions and your attachments and all the things that are blocking love. It is guaranteed that you will go through fear and meet your love, your true love. So lesson 298, I love you, Father, and I love your Son.